Hey guys, this is Will from Monkey Steals Peach, and for today's video I'm going to take you to the original part of Yantai, which is sort of, you can see it's behind these billboards and all that just across the road there. Yeah, it's been swallowed up by the urban sprawl. But that is the original part of Yantai, and it's where my teacher's teacher Zhang Kai Tang used to live and where he trained his Taiji Mantis. So I'm going to take you inside and tell you a little bit about his family's history and a little bit about Taiji Mantis. Alright, so as I said, this area, Suochengli, was the original area of Yantai. It was like the city centre. And during the Ming Dynasty, it was actually a military barracks. The name Yantai itself means like a smoke tower, so Yantai was important because it was on the coastline and they would light these great big fires to send smoke signals if there was like pirate raids along the coast. So Suochengli, this area, was originally a military base, and the Zhang family were sent here by an emperor in the Ming Dynasty they were like the generals that sort of managed the area and fought the like Japanese pirate incursions along the coast. But then fast forwarding to the Qing Dynasty, the Zhang family still remained loyal to the Ming, and they were against the Manchurian like invaders that set up the Qing. So they refused to continue military service and they decided to go into business, and from there they then became like one of the most powerful families in Yantai, really wealthy family. But they kept practicing martial arts just as sort of a hobby, you know, a pastime. So fast forward to like the end of the 19th, start of the 20th century, there was a guy called Zhang Mengjia, and Zhang Mengjia was a really big fan of martial arts, and he trained Meihua Mantis with Zhang Hualong. And then he trained for a really long time, but he ended up then forgetting it. So then he found Song Zide and asked Song Zide to teach him Mantis, and he like paid him a lot of money to come and like stay with him and teach him, but he ended up just being really lazy and he spent all his time just playing chess with Song. So then what he did was decided to pay for his nephew to continue his martial arts training, and his nephew was Zhang Kai Tang, and Zhang Kai Tang was my own teacher's teacher. So Zhang Kai Tang was training martial arts his whole life from childhood. He started off with learning all different styles like long fist, tongbei, all the sort of typical styles people learnt in the area. And then when he got a bit older, he started to learn Mantis. Originally he learnt Hao family Mantis from Hao Hengxin. Hao Hengxin was the fourth of 5 brothers who were all the sons of the founder of Hao family, which was Hao Lianru. So he spent 6 years learning with Hao Hengxin, becoming one of his top students, and Hao Hengxin was famous for his iron palm techniques. So Zhang Kai Tang also was pretty renowned for his iron palm. And then he also went on to seek out the second brother, Hao Honglu. Hao Honglu was famous for his weapons, particularly his sword. In fact, the double-handed sword that most people practice today, the Da Mo Jian, was actually invented by Hao Honglu. So Zhang Kai Tang, yeah, he also learned a lot of weapons from him. And then eventually, after he finished his training with them, his uncle wanted him to continue his training and to constantly seek a higher level. So he went to Dalian, where Cui Shoushan, who was one of the 3 mountains of Laiyang, which are like the three of the most famous Taiji Mantis people in all of China at the time. Zhang Mengjia went to Dalian and invited Cui Shoushan, who was from Yantai, well, he was from Laiyang, just outside Yantai, but he invited him to come from Dalian, where he was teaching professionally, to come back and be the living teacher. And so Cui Shoushan came and lived in their home, which I'm going to take you to in a minute. It's in here. And Cui Shoushan was their living teacher. He taught Zhang Kai Tang and some of the other sons, like constantly, intense training for 6 years. And then Zhang Kai Tang became one of the 3 main disciples of Cui Shoushan, the 3 inheritors of Cui Shoushan's sister. Okay, so we're walking down to the Zhang family's original home. Despite the appearance now, it was, during the 1920s and 30s, the place to be in Yantai. It was like one of the wealthiest areas, and the Zhang family owned almost all of this. It wasn't just like one house, it was pretty much most of this land belonged to them. And where I'm taking you now, I'm not sure if it's open or not, but it's the Zhang family ancestral hall. So hopefully I'm going to be able to show you that. I'll be able to tell you a little bit more about Zhang Kai Tang's training and his experiences learning Mantis with Cui Shoushan here. Oh well, we've got here, and as you can see, it looks like they're either going to renovate it or tear it down. I'm not quite sure, but you could go in it before, and I have been in it. Unfortunately, I didn't video there. But anyway, this is actually where Zhang Kai Tang trained with Cui Shoushan. So although Zhang Kai Tang was one of Cui Shoushan's top students, he was a pretty quiet and reclusive guy, kept a pretty low profile. And as such, during the Cultural Revolution, he was one of the few Mantis masters who didn't really have any unwanted attention. He just kept himself to himself, and he only taught his sons Mantis. And my teacher, Zhou Jiandong, was the only non-relative who learnt Mantis from him. And that was purely because Zhou Shifu's sister actually married one of Zhang Kai Tang's sons, so he was kind of a relative. And so my teacher, Zhou Jiandong, yeah, he trained starting before the Cultural Revolution, going right through it, and continued training with Zhang Kai Tang all the way up till his death in the early 90s. And sort of around that time, starting from the late 80s, my teacher Zhou Jiandong began teaching publicly. That time China was starting to open up, and the Cultural Revolution was over, so yeah, he began teaching publicly then. Zhang Kai Tang never taught publicly in his entire life, although he did accept a few students after the Cultural Revolution, but still a very, very quiet, reserved guy. Alright, so that was a short little introduction to Suochengli, which is the oldest part of Yantai, and a little bit of history about it, and also about my teacher's teacher, Zhang Kai Tang, and how he came to learn Taiji Mantis. So I hope you liked the video. If you did, please give us a like, and you can subscribe to the channel. I've got weekly videos about martial arts and travel in China. From December, I'm going to be doing a big project, and I keep talking about it, but I just mention it again. I'm going to be going to Singapore, Malaysia and Indonesia to do a bunch of interviews with some martial art masters there. So if you want to support that project, you can go to patreon.com/monkeystealspeach, and you can make a small donation there, and then there's a lot of bonus footage you can get for that.